From the land down under, with the rock at its centre, comes the little Aussie Watchman. In early October, the former Australian Prime Minister made a speech in London that not only had to do with global warming, but also a broader sweep at the cultural changes happening throughout the Western world. To focus on the global warming aspect of this speech is to miss many of its points. He had this to say initially: in most Western countries, we can't keep our borders secure, we can't keep our industries intact, and we can't preserve a moral order once taken for granted. Eventually, something will crystallize out of this age of disruption, but in the meantime, we could be entering a period of national and even civilisational decline. If he hadn't said anything else, that would have been enough. Western civilization is on the decline. It is clearly obvious with the rapid disintegration of the moral fabric that used to envelop our civilization. Abortion and now impending gay marriage, regular aggression from radical leftists at any conservative politician, the entitled mellinial, the list continues. As examples, he says, our biggest company, BHP, the world's premier miner, lives off the coal industry that it now wants to disown. And our oldest university, Sydney, now boasts that its mission is unlearning. Abott is picking up that in the post-Christian Western world, black is white and up is down. Decades of atheistic propaganda have led to a topsy-turvy world. He adds, civilisational self-doubt is everywhere. We believe in everyone except ourselves, and everything is taken seriously except that which we used to be. Of course, Western civilization is full of self-doubt. It has cast away its Christian foundation, is now drifting on the open ocean, lost without mooring. Abott says, we're less a post-Christian society than a non-Christian one, or even an anti-Christian one. It hasn't left us less susceptible to dogma, though, because we still need things to believe in and causes to fight for. It's just that believers can now be found for almost anything and everything. I say, humanity without God is empty and void. It needs a cause, a reason to be. Unfortunately, it holds on to things which are manifestly empty, and in the case of global warming, also scientifically wanting. Religious-like addiction to these types of causes has led to intellectual collapse. Abott continues, beware the pronouncement, the science is settled. It's a spirit of the Inquisition, the thought police down the ages. Almost as bad as the claim that 99% of scientists believe, as if scientific truth is determined by votes rather than facts. Abott touches on the inability of the modern man to deal with conflicting ideas. Certain politically correct ideas have morphed into dogma and are unable to be questioned even when the dogma is clearly flawed. From an age of inquiry, modern man now hides in the shadows of name-calling, aggression and intimidation. Abott adds this little nugget. Contrary to the breathless assertions that climate change is behind every weather event, in Australia the floods are not bigger, the bushfires are not worse, the droughts are not deeper or longer, and the cyclones are not more severe than they were in the 1800s. The growing evidence that records have been adjusted, that the impact of urban heat islands have been downplayed, and that data sets have been slanted in order to fit the theory of dangerous anthropogenic global warming does not make it false, but it should produce much caution about basing drastic action upon it. Abott goes on to describe South Australia ridding itself of its only coal power station, causing it to lose power for 24 hours last year when renewable energy sources failed. He describes the closure of Hazelwood coal-fired power station, which once supplied a quarter of Victoria's power, putting the state on the knife edge as far as reliable power supply occurs. New South Wales is now considering closing its Little coal power station. Abott adds, wind and solar power are like sailing ships, cheaper than powered boats to be sure, but we've stopped using sail for transport because it couldn't be trusted to turn up on time. And he's right, we have subsidised renewable energy while taxing coal power, leading to expensive and unreliable energy. Loss of jobs within industries that thrive on cheap energy, i.e. steel and aluminium-based jobs. And all for nothing, as China and India combined are planning to build 800 more coal power stations using our coal. The global warming, feel-good crowd are not saving their environment. They're destroying our quality of life and jobs and moving them to Asia. Western civilization, therefore, is not only morally bankrupt, but intellectually wanting. A nation that accepts sin will also import stupidity, joblessness, and economic failure.